Welcome to Beyond the Inbox, an e-commerce podcast brought to you by Dreyer. In each episode, you'll hear from top e-commerce marketers and founders who will reveal the customer-first strategies they're using to grow their sales, subscribers, and revenue. Now let's get into today's episode. In this episode of Beyond the Inbox, I'm joined by Lindsay Dreyer, the CMO of Hijab, a fashion and lifestyle brand that creates stylish and comfortable hijabs for Muslim women. With over 300,000 followers on Instagram alone, Hijab has built a passionate community of customers who love the brand's products and values. In this episode, Lindsay shares her insights on how to build a strong brand community, the importance of SMS marketing, and how to make the most of social media platforms like Instagram and Facebook. Lindsay, welcome to Beyond the Inbox. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
I have so many questions about the brand, but I want to start off by asking, can you tell us about Hijab and the problem or problems it solves for its customers?
Yes, absolutely. So Hijab has been around for about 12 or 13 years now. It was founded by Melanie Elturk, who was a civil rights attorney prior to founding the company. As a Muslim woman herself, she realized throughout her life that there weren't a lot of resources out there for women who wanted to feel stylish, feel confident and comfortable every day, putting on their hijab and going out into the world. So this was a problem that she knew she could solve and she felt confident that she could solve. So she started the company in her apartment at the time. She was living in Dubai, just sending hijabs out from her from her living room, basically. The company grew. She eventually moved it to New York, decided to fully pivot her career away from being a civil rights attorney to, just running this company full time. And here we are today, about 13 years later, helping Muslim women every day feel comfortable and confident every time they walk out the door.
And how many employees are there and how many in the marketing department?
Right now, we are a team of about 10. And in the marketing department, we have about 3 people.
Okay. And can you share more what you're doing and what your day-to-day looks like?
Yeah, definitely. So as the CRM manager, my job really started with email. Using email automations and filtering to reach our customers, in the most native way possible in their inbox. But then over time, as Drip started to add things like on-site and SMS, I realized that my job was so much bigger than just email. People like to be reached in different ways across their digital life throughout the day, whether they're on their cell phone or they're on their desktop at work. So I have figured out really the secret sauce to using all 3 of those things to reach our customers where they are, bring them back to site, and make their purchasing experience the easiest and seamless it could be start to finish.
Let's dig into that starting from the top. So assuming I'm a new visitor and I land on the website, I see a pop-up offering a 20% discount, and there's also the option for me to enter my mobile. So I wanted to ask you, and this can be as long of an answer as you like, can you tell me how the brand uses email and SMS in its life cycle marketing?
Yeah, so say you're that customer, you come to the site for the first time, you see our pop-up, and you're interested. You're like, I'm not sure if I'm ready to make a purchase yet, but I'll give you my name, my email address, and my phone number. What we do there is we trigger an automation where the person gets we give them a double opt-in, of course, because we want to do quality control for our list and make sure somebody really wants to be there. And then from there, the second email they will receive is that promo code from us, reminding them, hey, you've got 20% off on your first order. I also reveal that promo code right after they enter their information, because some people, might not go back to their email that day, or, email, everyone's sending emails all the time. It might get lost in the shuffle. So we reveal it there after they put in their information as well, just to make sure they definitely see that promo code. And from there, after they receive, those first introductory emails, I put them into a welcome campaign where I let them know what our brand is all about. I introduce them to Melanie, why she founded the company, tell them a little more about the community of our brand. Because part of what makes Hoda Job so special really is the community, the customers that have been there for all these years, super loyal customers. And we have a really robust Facebook page where they communicate with each other, just talk about styles or what's going on with our brand on the website. They let others know, hey, they've got a sale going on right now, or check out this new color, this new fabric that, Hoda Job just launched. So we let people know all of that information up front. We have a loyalty program. So as we drip them through there, obviously the goal is to convert them into being a customer. And at that point, when they do make that first purchase, we then put them into our new customer drip, which is a little more detailed about what they can expect now that they've made a purchase. Here's some information about how to care for your new hijab. Here's some styling tips. And don't forget to redeem those points when you come back because we have a loyalty program. So all of these different automated flows that we have set up are really geared to where the customer is in their journey with us as a customer.
There's so much good stuff here to unpack. Let me ask you about, are you continuously testing this, or is it something that you are running and maybe going back to once a quarter? How are you continuously iterating on some of these workflows?
Yeah, a lot of them are set it and forget it for now, just because we are a really small team. So we don't necessarily have a lot of the resources to be doing a lot of continual testing. I will say I do go back to those flows frequently. I look at metrics like open rate, click through, and I monitor those over time and see what's happening. If something stands out, like, oh my God, our click through rate just plummeted on this flow. What's going on there? I'll go in and take a look and make some changes or try out some new things to see if we can get some of those metrics up. So I'm constantly, even though it's set it and forget it, I'm always looking. I always have an eye on how those metrics are doing. And I use the drip email metrics to just keep an eye on that over time. But I do change out imagery pretty frequently in those flows. As our brand presence changes and evolves, I want to make sure those emails are consistent with what the customer sees on the website, so that it doesn't feel like the emails are old or stale or coming from a different brand. I think brand consistency is one of the most important things, especially in that introductory flow. It's the first time you have the customer's attention, they click through. And if the emails don't feel like the website, there's going to be some kind of disconnect there. And the customer might not consciously say, oh, that feels weird. But in the back of their mind, they're not going to feel as comfortable to make a purchase or go back and read another email if that first experience, that first touch point just didn't feel right or organic.
So once someone makes a purchase, how are you turning first-time purchases into second-time purchases and so on?
Well, before SMS and onsite, it was like, let's just send them more emails, right? And we were seeing that we weren't getting the customer loyalty that we needed through email alone. And I think it's because there's just so much noise. And you see it in your inbox. I see it in my inbox every day. I miss emails from the brands that I actually want to hear from. And then I get upset. I go back 2 weeks later and I'm looking through that promotions tab and I'm like, wait a minute, I had a 20% off coupon from this brand that I love and I didn't even see it. I didn't even know and nobody told me. And so I know how frustrating that is for customers who do want to be alerted to some of these things. So I think one of the really helpful things for us has been SMS. We have that pop up when customers come to the site. We also have the Shopify SMS opt-in box at checkout. So there's a number of ways that our customers can opt into SMS. And what we've seen with SMS is we have our most loyal customers signing up for SMS. They are the people who, they don't just want us in their inbox. They want us on their phone. They want to be the first to know what's going on. And they want to hear from us the way that they would hear from one of their friends, which is in their text inbox. So we've been using that a lot to reach those customers who we know are always going to make another purchase. So that's been really helpful for us. With email itself, we do a lot of automations to reach customers after they've made that first purchase. And then we also follow up with them after they've lapsed, or after they've gone cold and they haven't made a purchase in maybe 6 months. We have an automation set up where we funnel them in and say, hey, it's been a while. Here's an incentive, or here's some news about what we've been up to. So there's a number of tactics that we use to make sure that people keep coming back and see what we're up to. So,
wow, there's so much to reflect on there, especially how powerful it is to move a customer from one channel to another. I never thought about how impactful that can be, receiving text messages from a brand you love. I guess maybe there is some conditioning around, okay, when I see an email from a brand, then they're probably going to ask me to buy something. And like you say, there's so much noise. Do you think SMS is something a lot more brands should do?
Absolutely. And the wonderful thing about SMS is that you're really only going to have a list of people who really want to be there. With email, people know, okay, I can sign up for that welcome promo code or whatever that thing is that got me in the funnel. And then, I don't really have to unsubscribe because I know I have so much storage in my Gmail, and I'll just, even if I'm on the fence, I'll just kind of let it sit there. Maybe I'll go back and open that email a few weeks later. But, with SMS, by giving people the opportunity to sign up for text messages from your brand, you're giving them a chance to feel like they're friends with you. And that's something that we've noticed with our SMS customers. The list is much, much smaller than our email list. And that's a good thing, right? Like, we want that list of people to be the people that we know every time we're going to click, they're going to purchase. They want us in their text inbox. Like I said, the way that you would expect a friend to reach out to you. They're giving us permission to message them in that same way, to invite them into their digital world in the same way a friend would be invited. So it's personal. It feels a lot more personal than an email.
You mentioned about rising above the noise, and I was speaking to an e-commerce founder recently, and he was talking about his concern that maybe he's emailing too much, and he even looked at other brands and signed up for their emails and tried to take an average. And he said it was impossible because every brand is different, every industry is different. How do you strike this balance between emailing the right amount and not texting too much? Is that something that you discover through trial and error?
Oh, definitely. And that's where you always have to have an eye on metrics, especially that unsubscribe and the opt-out. That'll tell you kind of everything you need to know if people are getting annoyed, right? It's like, okay, this week we sent 4 text messages and our unsubscribe rate went up, significantly. That's telling us, like, we've hit the threshold. People don't want to hear from us 4 times a week. So with SMS, we've really found that once a week is a really good cadence for us. And it might be different for your brand or a different brand. But you definitely have to test people's threshold and people's, what they're willing to consume and how they're willing to consume it. And for something that's more transactional, a customer is going to be okay with, hearing from a brand more frequently. So if it's for your shipping information, they want it. They want updates. They want to know, is my package in transit? Is my package arriving? Was it delivered? And that's a totally different sort of communication than, hey, we've got a sale, or check on our new product. So testing the different types of messaging and finding out that threshold is really important. With email, we've found that less is more often with email. We have our key days of the week where customers know that they're going to hear from us. Like every Tuesday, we have a Tuesday email that's gone out for the past 12 years. It's our Tuesday drop. When you become a customer at Hoda Job, you know that you can expect new product from us every Tuesday to check your inbox at 11 Eastern time. And I think having that consistency is so important. So we do have emails that go out at various times as sales come up or we restock things. But that Tuesday anchor email is the one that customers, they wait for it and they know it's coming. So having something like that in your strategy can be really impactful for the customer.
I want to come back to that because I had a question around that. We were talking a little bit about quality of emails and having double opt-ins and so on, where are you driving most of your conversions right now? Because you have forms on your site and you have the welcome pop-up, but you also have a quiz where visitors can enter their email to get a highly personalized recommendation, but they can skip it as well. And I wanted to ask you, which is converting better?
I would say it's a little bit of everything. And I know that doesn't really feel like an answer. But the majority of our opt-ins come with checkout, right? You're checking out, you're opting in as you make that purchase. But we're having people, non-customers, come in and subscribe to our newsletter. We've got, an opt-in form in the footer. Some people fill that out. We've got that quiz, like you mentioned. You fill out information about what your needs are, what kind of climate you live in, what your lifestyle is like, and we make a recommendation for you. And we trigger a highly personalized email with recommendations based on your result. That does really well. We convert people through that. Another really fun feature we have is an on-site email capture form on our page called Getting Started. And it's basically this introductory page to hijab. If you're either new or considering or just need a refresher, we kind of go through step by step. What are the products you need and how do you wear them? So you start with your underscarf and then you get some accessories and it goes down the page, really just geared toward that educational content. And somewhere on that page, as the customer scrolls down, they get a pop-up and it says, "Hey, welcome. Are you new to hijab or are you considering hijab? We'd love to know more about you so that we can serve you the right, product." And from there, the customers get 3 options. They can say, I'm new, I'm a seasoned pro, or I don't wear hijab yet, but I'm considering it. And from there, what we do is then in Drip, we mapped those fields to custom fields in their profile. And so we're able to mark them down as, okay, this person told us they're new to hijab. Let's kick off an automation that gives them content geared to where they are in their journey with this product. If they said that they were considering wearing hijab, then we trigger a different automation that's like, okay, if you're considering, that means you don't wear it yet at all. You probably need a different kind of educational series to kick off this journey. So that highly personalized approach is something that's been really successful, and our conversion rate on that pop-up, on that Sleek Note pop-up, is incredible. We've had hundreds of people already tell us whether or not they're new or considering wearing this product. And that is a really powerful piece of information.
How do you arrive at the point where you say, okay, we need to segment our visitors into these 3 buckets? Are you having people tell you during the buying cycle that they would like to buy from you, but maybe they don't know enough about the brand? Or where can someone start with having such high-level segmentation like that?
Well, I think it depends on where the person's email address is coming from, right? If somebody has completed a purchase and you're gathering their information post-purchase, you might want to have some kind of, form after they complete the purchase, like, how did you hear about us? That's a great place because the customer is highly engaged after they've made their purchase. And that's one of the best times to collect information about your customer. You could do a survey at that point about, you could send them to a type form. You could do all sorts of things with the customer post-purchase. So you could do refer a friend. That's a great time to say, hey, you've just purchased from us. Like, if you want $20 off your next purchase, send this to a few of your friends. So gathering information from a customer post-purchase, I think, is a really powerful way to begin thinking about segmentation. But you don't necessarily need the customer to tell you things about themselves in order to use the readily available data to start segmenting them. So after they've made a purchase and they go into Drip and you're synced with Shopify or whatever system you're using, you're able to filter and segment by some of that information you already know. Like, what did they buy? How much did they spend? you can use that information to start thinking about, how am I going to reach this person in the future? If their first purchase was like, say they only bought neutral colors in a certain fabric, this person probably has a color palette that they like. You can make some assumptions about the type of purchaser they are. If somebody buys like bold colors, they're buying like blue and yellow and green, you're like, okay, this is the type of customer who, maybe I'll start filtering them into a segment of people who bought bold colors, because every time we have a product launch with something that's bold, bright colors, they're going to be the first to know, because we know they already like that. So there's just so much you can do without having to get too fancy, almost based on the readily available data that's already inside of Drip.
It's fascinating to hear. I want us to go back to something you said earlier about these drops that you're doing every Tuesday. I have this in my notes as well. So how are you approaching these drops in a way that it's sustainable to do each week? Because I know you're doing some partnerships as well, and I wanted to ask a little bit more about that.
So what's really cool about our Tuesday drops is that our product is made from dead stock fabric. So this is fabric that already exists in the world, and other designers were either going to throw it out or, it would end up in a landfill. So what we do is we go and we buy that fabric, and we create these limited edition scarves based on that fabric. So sometimes they come back into stock if we have more fabric, but generally that's it. Whatever, those 20 pieces or those 30 pieces from that dead stock fabric is what is sold, and that's all that's available. And we have so much of this dead stock fabric that we're able to keep rolling out drops every Tuesday. We'll drop anywhere from 4 to 8 hijabs every Tuesday. And I think what's really cool about these drops is that customers just know. They've been with us for such a long time. So many of them have been, and they know that Tuesday is our day, and that's when we serve them new product. And what's really fun about that is we have in a social media tie-in there as well, where we allow customers to name one of the prints every week. And once they name a print and they comment on Instagram, we select a winner, and then the winner receives 100 community rewards points, which they can redeem for a future purchase. So it's just a fun little way to incorporate other aspects of the customer's digital life within our Tuesday drops. And we see the same people coming back week after week. They're like, I got to win this. I got to win it. I have to win those 100 points. And eventually, if you come up with a name that's clever enough, you will win. And then on Shopify, on our Shopify store, we have a little blurb that says, hey, this was named by one of our customers. Join us next week. And, you can win 100 community points rewards as well if you successfully name this week's pattern.
That's fascinating. Something that came up for me when I was listening to that was, how are you factoring in seasonal holidays as well? So if Valentine's Day falls on a Tuesday, are you doing like a cross promotion where it's Valentine's Day themed, or are you maybe delaying another promotion? Like, how do you schedule that all in?
Well, what's interesting about our company is that because we're a Muslim company, we don't really follow a lot of the traditional seasonal patterns. We don't recognize Valentine's Day. We don't recognize St. Patrick's Day, obviously. And we don't recognize Christmas. So for us, we're in a really unique place because our holidays don't tend to fall on, the traditional American holiday calendar. So we don't have a lot of those conflicts, really. We do Black Friday, and we go hard on Black Friday. We have a huge celebration all November long, culminating in our big end of the month sale. But yeah, I know that's kind of a non-answer, but because we don't, we kind of make our own rules.
That's really fascinating. I never considered that. Yeah, there's a lot to reflect on there. I want to switch gears a little bit because time is flying and I have so many more questions that I want to ask you. So I want to talk a little bit about social. So you have 300,000 plus followers on Instagram alone. What is social's role in Hotejab's marketing strategy? How are you using it, and what is the approach to how you're doing it?
Yeah, that's a big question. Social media is a really important touch point in our customer journey. And that's how we think of all of our marketing channels, right? They all work collectively and in tandem. They don't work alone and in a vacuum. All of these things intersect. And I think one of the ways in which we see that is the Tuesday drop. The customers name the product on Instagram, we select them, and then we drop the products via email. So you see that it's part of a larger digital ecosystem. We do some influencer marketing, like a lot of companies do. We do that on social. We have, some women in the US, and then we also have some in the UK because we have a UK market as well. So we have some women there who are our brand ambassadors, and that's been really successful for us. We also, of course, we've dabbled in the world of pay, like everybody has to these days, paid ads. And that's been pretty successful for us. I think Facebook is, it's up and down all the time. But we've really figured out how to see a positive ROAS there with Facebook. So all of these things are really working together and in tandem. And specifically with paid, what we like to do in Drip is create automations where we can create custom audiences based on the criteria or customer attributes that we're trying to reach at that time. So I'll give you an example. If we are launching a new product that's black, we might look back at all of the customers who have purchased anything in the color black in the past and then put them into a segment and then create a custom audience in Facebook so that we can reach those customers again or customers like them, on Facebook. So that's a little bit about how we use Drip to play into some of those social channels.
That's really smart. I love that. There's so much I'm reflecting on this call. What about the Facebook community that you have? How does that work? I know you talked about having all of these channels working in tandem, but are there any sub-channels? Like, is there a difference between how you're using the Facebook community versus, say, Instagram or another social platform?
Yeah, the really cool thing about our Facebook community is that we don't really do anything there. Our customers are so passionate about the brand, the content that we produce, because we also have this amazing blog that's updated regularly. And there's just so much for them to talk about. So the wonderful thing, like I said, is we don't really have to do anything. We put our product out into the world. We put our content out into the world, and our customers really take it and run with it on Facebook. We moderate it, of course. We make sure that people who aren't supposed to be there aren't there. It's a women-only group. It's a safe space for people to communicate about hijab or other issues on their mind. So that's what's really cool about the Facebook group. Instagram, of course, is just a different sort of platform. We have a lot of people commenting, sharing, but just the platform itself lends itself to a different sort of communication. Our founder, as I mentioned, Melanie, she's extremely active on the Instagram page. She created that Instagram page. It is her account, really. And so when you go to Hodajab on Instagram, you can expect to learn a lot about Melanie, see what Melanie's up to, get a glimpse into her daily life. She recently was in Turkey doing some charity work for the earthquakes that happened there. And she documented that entire journey with our customers and brought them along with her on that journey. And, you don't really see a lot of brands giving their customers a glimpse into the life of their founder and CEO. And I think that highly personalized connection with Melanie is something that our customers really value. And, I mentioned before, when we text people, it feels like we're a friend, texting them to their phone, and they trust us. And I think part of the reason that we've been able to establish that kind of relationship with our customers is because of that transparency on other social media platforms, especially Instagram, where Melanie hops on lives all the time. She'll take a topic and say, okay, this is what we're going to talk about today. Let's get on live and we'll go for it. And then she takes questions from folks. And I'm always jumping on those lives as well, just to listen and see, what's Melanie going to talk about today. And sometimes it's about hijab, but sometimes it's not. And I think founders have the ability to be a voice for things that matter beyond just the product that they're selling. And that's what Melanie does so well.
I think that's an amazing place to start wrapping up. Lindsay, where can our listeners learn more about Hotajab?
You guys can go to hotajab.com, our website. We're also on Instagram, as I mentioned, and just at Hotajab. We have a second Instagram for our super fans called HH Spotted Club. So you can go there and see all user-generated content, people who are wearing our product and tagging us. And we regram them pretty regularly. So if you're interested in really seeing the product, that's where you should go. And you can, if you want to join our Facebook group, if you wear hijab or you're thinking about it, head over there. We'd be happy to have you.
Perfect. Well, Lindsay, thanks again for taking the time to join us, and all the best in the future with everything.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. You've been listening to Beyond the Inbox, an e-commerce podcast brought to you by Drip. If you enjoyed the episode, it would mean the world to me if you would subscribe, rate, and review the show on iTunes. Thanks for listening.